Okay, Hare Krishna, everyone. Just a recap, of the things, on the shlokas we have done till date from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Previously, in the chapter 5, we were into the action in Krishna consciousness. What is Krishna Karma Yoga and what is the knowledge and what is Nishkam Karma Yoga. We are currently into the part where Karma Yoga is being discussed, and explained to Arjuna by Krishna from first to chapter 6. Then we will enter into the part of Bhakti Yoga. Then we will end up with the Gyan Yoga. So now in the previous chapter 5.1 to 6, it was Krishna told Arjuna that Nishkam karma is easier, renouncing of the work. It is, it is better. Nishkam karma is easier than renouncing of the work. Secondly, he told from 5.7 to 12, the crux was that how to perform Nishkam karma yoga, right? You can perform it. And 5.13 to 16, it was platform of knowledge, knowing the three doers, right? Who are the actual doers, right? The first doer is the desire is the soul, initiator is the initiator, then there is, three modes of material nature who are doing the work, and the permitter is the Paramatma, right? So we learned there the three doers is Satoguna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna, and mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. In the section 4 part, we learned about the liberation by focus on the super soul. How to get liberation? It is by focusing of the super soul, that is Paramatma. Then section 5, we learned that liberation through Ashtanga Yoga, which will be discussed in this chapter of chapter 6, right? What is Ashtanga Yoga? What is Dhyan Yoga? Learned in the Dhyan Yoga. Section 6 was the peace formula. Bhoktaram Yakatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suhadam Sarvabhutanam Gyatvam Shantim Rachati. Right. So we learned there that the peace, one who knows three things, that Lord is the ultimate benefit. All the sacrifices, all your austerities has to be given to the Lord only. All gives to the Lord only. He is the Lord of all the supreme planets and the demigods, right? And he is the only benefactor and well-wisher of the living entities, right? So if one knows these three things, then he will be at peace, right? He will be peace at this in this material world also. Today we'll starting with the sixth chapter. It contains again six sections. The first section is advancing yoga through detached work. What is detachment of work? How to advance in yoga? Firstly, if one wants to advance in yoga, yoga means what union with the Lord, right? Union with the God. So by that, you how to advance in it by detachment, right? So some vairagya is there, some detachment is there. And 6.5 to 9, the yoga ruda stage, giving up work. What is giving up work? We will learn there. Then we will learn with the further stages in the practice of yoga. What are the stages? Various stages in one advances in yoga. And the fourth section will deal with the necessity of controlling the turbulent mind, why it is necessary to control the turbulent mind. And the fifth section, we will deal with the destination of the unsuccessful yogi. What happens to a yogi who is, there may be two kinds of yogi, unsuccessful yogi, right? Who have advanced but still failed, who have just started but still failed. So there are two kinds of them, right? They have started in the some starting point, they have started in the middle, they have failed. Some may be very much advanced but still failed. So what happens to both the yogis? We will learn that. And what about the topmost yogi? Who is the topmost yogi? Who is the topmost yogi? We learned in the 6.47, right? So section 1, the advancing in yoga through detached work. Then Ashtanga yogis like Nishkam Karma yogis engaged in detached work to advance, right? So detachment comes to one who realizes that he is not autonomous in his action, right? He comes to who will detachment will be there. Who will realize that it is not autonomous. It is not automatically happened. The desire was there. Then then there's three modes of material nature was there. Then there was this permitter and the and the overseer Paramatma, right? Who granted the wishes. So the jiva desire, Lord proposes. God is basically proposes and God disposes, right? So Jiva desires, and through Paramatma permitting it, the three modes of material nature again does the work, right? So three modes of material nature is the actually doer, right? So Ahankara Vimodatna Kartam iti manyate. Prakatim, Prakatim Kriyamanani Gunai Karmani Sarvasa, right? It is said by third chapter. We learned that Prakriti Kriyamanani Gunai Karmani Sarvasa. The Prakriti is the actual doer, right? Prakriti Kriyamanani Gunai, the through three modes of material nature. Ahankara Vimudatma, Ahankar due to the influence of the false ego, right? Ahankara Vimudatma Karta Hamiti Mane. He assumes that he is the doer, right? And actually, who has carried out the work? The three modes of material nature has carried out the work. So one who purifies his vision activity by Nishkam Karma Yoga. One is all the activities, he is doing the activity, but he is doing the activities, but it is Nishkam Karma Yoga. He is not attached, right? Make further advancement by practice of meditation on Super Soul by Ashtanga Yoga method, right? So Nishkam Karma Yogi is practicing Ashtanga Yoga method, right? By meditating on the Super Soul, one can develop devotion to him in Bhakti Yoga, right? So Bhakti is needed, one will know that, okay, in my heart, already there is Shirodaksha, Vishnu is there, Paramatma is already residing in my heart. So he will have devotion that he is, he is the permitter. He is doing everything, right? He is permitting everything, right? So if he is already there, the all blissfulness is already there, then the devotion will develop. Right? The understanding that Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, right? Bhoktaram Yagya Pradhan, supreme enjoyer, ultimate controller, right? Sarvadam Sarvalokamaishwara, ultimate controller and best friend, the Suhadam Sarvabhutanam, right? If you understand these three things, then you will meditate on the Super Soul and the Bhakti Yoga will start, right? What is the connection to the, 5 to 6 is the, it's basically the increase in the knowledge. In the previous chapter, it was action in Krishna consciousness, right? Action in Krishna consciousness. Now the Dhyan Yoga is basically to what is Krishna consciousness? Achieving the Krishna consciousness through Dhyan, right? Through Dhyan. So when the knowledge will increase, that one is not the body, one is, he will be detached, right? Then the Gyan Yoga will come, the four Kumaras, right? And, then the consciousness will increase, right? Consciousness will increase and ultimately it will lead to Samadhi, the super soul, right? So one is basically into the, one is basically into the Pranavayu state, or, Annamaya state. Annamaya state is one is, a child is basically in the at the Annamaya stage. Annamaya state is he's only care about his body because he keeps eating. Whatever you give him, you give him the toy, he will eat. You give him everything, he will only eat. So that is Annamaya state. We are also like that. If we are too much caring about our body with the, all the stuff, then what is there, we are at the Annamaya stage. Rather, if we consider that this is just a boat to carry us over to the Lord, then you will feel that, okay, this boat, it does not need that much, that much attention. Rather, it should be used in the service of the Lord. Then you will go to the Supreme Lord directly, right? So this body should be used for the service of the Lord, not for decorating. A boat is just for, transferring from in the ocean. It is in the ocean just to go from one place to another place, right? So if you want to basically then carry ourselves to the, other side of the ocean, then one needs to use the boat, not decorate it with super many things, and, doing exercise and all, very various things are there to decorate this boat, right? But one should not waste their time in that boat, right? One should be using it rather to increase the speed, to increase the speed, to you basically carry it over, efficiently, right? Whatever way one can, one should well use this body to in the service of the Lord, so that one can go, on the other side of the ocean, right? So that is the, that is the stage, right? So from the knowledge increases, from one comes to on the Annamaya stage, one gets the knowledge to the Vigyan Maya, one comes to Vigyan Maya. Then what will the pran maya is also there, using your energy. A child grows, then what happens, he plays a lot, right? He has lot of energy, right? Is there, so he plays a lot, and, ultimately then he again comes to the teenager. Then he becomes some Gyan Maya comes, then Vigyan Maya comes, right? Then one cultivates the knowledge about the self, right? Not yet he is not the body, becomes detached. Then some Nishkam karma, then the knowledge comes, right, about how the work should be done. Then consciousness increases, right? Consciousness comes to the level that one is, one is having super soul is also there, right? So this is the connection, right, about the super soul. Before practicing advanced stages of Ashtanga Yoga, one must be purified by the practice of Nishkam Karma Yoga, right? So therefore, Lord Krishna glorifies Nishkam Karma Yoga in first two verses, right? So firstly, one should start with the Nishkam Karma Yoga. One should at least try doing activities with Nishkam Karma Yoga, right? Then only one will come to the stage of Nishtang Yoga, because directly you will go and one will not, one will not be there for longer time, right? So Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Anashita Karma Phalam Karyam Karma Karoti Ya Sanyashi Cha Yogi Cha Naniragni Na Chakriya. Hare Krishna. Translation, anyone?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mata.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, one who is unattached to the fruits of his work and who works as he is obligated is in the renounced order of life, and he is the true mystic, not he who lights no fire and performs no duty. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So here the question comes that, yeah, right, who basically, who is basically announcing work or not announcing work, who. So firstly, one needs to do karma again and again. Lord is saying that at least do karma yoga, nishkam karma yoga has to be done. Renouncing the work is not good. So one who is unattached to the fruits of his work. So nishkam karma yoga is what? Unattached. One who is basically unattached to the fruits of their work, and who works as he is obligated in the renounced order of life. In the renounced order of life, whatever his obligation is there, he works, right? And he is the true mystic, not he who lights no fire and performs no. One is not performing his duty is not good. No one is not performing the yagna is not good, right? Sankirtana yagna. Because if you are just sitting, is not performing the duty, that is also bad, right? So Krishna is just glorifying. Krishna is glorifying that yes, the one who is doing Krishna Nishkam Karma Yoga is much better than one who is in the renounced order of life, right? So one must do all his activity as per the duty, right? So here you can see that this basically person is there, so are they, basically what is called renunciation you should know, in this 6.2 we learn that what is called renunciation you should know to be the same as yoga, linking oneself with the supreme or son of Pandu, for one can never become yogi unless he renounces the desire for sense gratifications, right? So bhogeshwarya prasakta nam taya partha chesana, one who is too much, into the bhoga and Aishwarya, he will not attain the supreme, right? So what is called renunciation? You should know to be the same as yoga, right? One is renunciation is, but in he's in yoga. What is? Can anyone tell what is yoga? Yog, what is yog?
Connecting soul with Paramatma.
Okay, Mataji. Union with the okay, Mataji. Anything else? Yoga means practice. Okay, Mataji. Anything else? One is connecting soul with the Paramatma. One is practice. Any other answer? Okay, yog means union, right? So yog, the English, the English meaning of a union. But whom to union with? The soul is connecting to the Lord, right? Union with the Lord. We want to have unite with the Lord, right? Yoga is uniting with the Lord, right? It in the current terms, in the current, in the current world, what is happening? Yoga is a practice as various forms of activities, right? Various forms of activities or asanas is practicing. Yam, niyam, asan, pranayam is there, right? The asan part is being basically influenced much of a daily exercise, some doing some exercise has been portrayed as yoga, but that is not the aim of yoga. That is not at all the yoga scene, right? Even the Patanjali saying is not that. Okay, sorry everyone. So basically, renunciation is, should know to be as yoga, right? So union is basically one with the Lord, right? Current system, what is happening? It is being portrayed as an exercise, right? Exercise is not the aim of yoga. Yoga's aim, even the breathing exercise, it's all to control the mind, right? Once control the mind, then the senses are controlled. Because in the exercise, what is happening? We are engaging our senses, right? Through those engagement of the senses, we control our breathing activities. Through those breathing activities, we control our mind at one point, right? So at one point, by that, what happens? happens, we are able to concentrate. When you get the practice of concentration, then one starts to get united with the Lord, because once firstly the mind has to be controlled, right? For that, senses needs to be controlled, right? So first the senses are concentrated with the exercises, right? And the breathing activity sides then starts, and then the the mind activity starts, and then the mind is controlled, and then one is further elevated to the knowledge that okay, now you have to do the yoga, that is with all these activities, all this exercise has been done just to unite with the Lord, right? That is the supreme purpose, right, of the yoga, right? So yoga, or linking oneself with the supreme, right? O son of Pandu, for one can never become a yogi unless he renounces the desire for sense gratifications, right? So this person has basically, one is, one you can see here that one is renouncing all the, all his activities, has all his yogis desire for the sense gratification, one has lost. And one should not become a parasite in the society. Rather, one should be one should renounce the desire for sense gratification. Whatever the renounced order of life says, renounced order of sannyasis are also in the ISKCON, right? They also follow some rules and regulation in the temple. They worship the deity, right? Whatever there is, the whatever the activities are there, but still they are in the renounced order of life and living in the temple, right? So that is, that is the state of doing that. But what happens, in this stage, in this stage, what is happening in the current world, right? If one is basically renouncing, in this age of Kali, Ashtang yoga is not recommended, right? In the Srila Prabhupada, in the purport also writes that, this Ashtang yoga is not recommended in this age of Kali, because, you need to leave everything, some certain things will happen, right? And then the society will be a big issue, and above than that, if society is not an issue, still this age, one can, is able to do that in this life or not, that is also not sure, right? Because it is not the bhakti yoga, right? It is not at the mercy of the Lord. It is rather we are doing some activities, and we are having the, we are trying to do something, and then un- once one we tries to do, then what happens, in this age of Kali, it is not recommended, because it is short lived, right? It is short lived, many stages, many obstacles will be there in this Ashtanga yoga practice. That's why it's not recommended to go into the forest, and then lay kusha grass and start practicing Ashtanga yoga. That is a difficult thing in the age of Kali, right? So it is recommended chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, right? So eightfold yoga system emphasizing control of the mind and senses, very difficult, especially in the age of Kali. The Lord emphasizes on karma yoga, Krishna consciousness, right? Lord is saying that do karma yoga, right? When the Shkam karma yoga, that is do Krishna conscious activities, engage your mind and senses in the service of the Lord, right? So better, as all living entities are constitutionally parts and parcel of the Supreme, right? Should work with Lord always in mind, in absolute surrenderance, right? We should do all the work with surrender to the Lord. With this attitude of surrendering to the Lord, will only reach us closer and closer to the Lord, right? Must work in Krishna consciousness as though we are obligated to Him, right? Because we everything is provided by the Lord, right? So we need to be obligated to Him. We must show our gratitude. We must show absolute surrender to Him. The parts of the body work for the satisfaction of the whole body, right? So we are the part and parcel of the Lord only, right? So living entity working to satisfy the supreme and not self is the perfect sannyasi or yogi, right? So who is perfect sannyasi or yogi? Who is basically trying to satisfy the supreme, right? So supreme, not not the self, right? Right, in the Shikshashtakam, right, we that is recited in the morning. There's this four shloka: na dhanam na janam na sundarim kavitam va jagadisha kame mama janmani janmanishwari bhavatat bhakti rahitu kidai. After birth, I na dhanam na janam, nor I want wealth, nor I want women, nor I want followers or disciples, not birth after birth, give me unmotivated, and service of the Lord, right? Service of the Lord. That is all. Bhavatat bhakti rahitu kidai. Uninterrupted service of the Lord. That is all one wants. So this is, this Shikshashtakam is the only 8 verses that has been told by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He has written nothing. Just these 8 verses. Out of that, this fourth verse is very, popular verse. Such a is shall to be the attitude of the devotee. Sannyasi is presuming they are liberated from all material duties and stopping Agnihotra Yajna, fire sacrifices are impermanent. Right? The sannyasi who has, who presume that they are liberated from all, they are leaving everything. thing, right? And they have stopped doing the yagna, the fire sacrifices. Then what are they? They are imperfect, right? They are not doing the activity that has to be done. Even as a sannyasi, they need to do the yagnas, fire sacrifices, because it is mentioned in the Vedas as a sannyasi you need to do. But one is stopped, then he has stopped his duty, because as a sannyasi also one has a duty, right? As a sannyasi also there is a duty that you need to do yagnas, fire sacrifices, right? So their desire to become one with the impersonal Brahman is greater than any material desire, right? So that is also a desire, right? That is also a desire. In the further, in the further, they are also trying to do Krishna consciousness, right? They are one. It is part of being one with the impersonal Brahman is also part of Krishna consciousness, but it is still and it is part of material desire. They're just because they are being selfish that I don't want this fourfold miseries. That is fine. It is fine that at least one is starting at the self-realization, but one is not trying to serve the Lord who has provided him everything, right? So that is a case of material desire only, because still that person is thinking about himself only. What he is thinking, that I don't want to be a part of this fourfold mysteries, right? That is, I has come, the I has come, the false ego has come, and assuming that only this is the truth, right? This is just getting out of this photo, but he doesn't know the Bhagwan, he doesn't know the supreme Lord of supreme personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, that okay, that he has provided, so I need to serve him, I need to serve him, that we are the eternal servitor, we are there is the fundamental position. He is just caring about himself. So that's why here it is written as, that it is, it is not any greater than material desire. That is also material desire. Anything for the self is the material desire, right? So mystic yogi also performing yoga with half open eyes, stopping all mental activities, is also an imperfect. So that is also not perfection, right? Performing, half open eyes. This is Ashtanga yoga, doing mental activities, stopping all mental activities, and that is also imperfect yoga, right? So that is also not perfect. Both the sannyasi and the mystic yogi are self-interested, right? Sannyasi is basically, left everything and not performing the yagna. That is also not good. The mystic yogi, trying to be, attain some siddhi, something out of this material, going into the impersonal Brahman. That is also imperfect, right? A Krishna conscious person works for the satisfaction of the whole without self-interest. Rather, Krishna conscious person, how he will work? He will do all the activities as a surrender, as a offering to the Lord, as an offering to the Lord, right? He is a true sannyasi or perfect yogi. The highly renounced Lord Chaitanya prays in this chariot, yeah, na dhanam na janam sundarim kavitam vajagadish kame mama janmani janmanishwari bhavatat bhakti rahitu kidvai. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor to enjoy beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. What I want is the causeless mercy of your devotional service in my life, birth after birth, right? Only the mercy, what is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that I only want causeless mercy of your devotional service, right? This is the attitude, this is the attitude of the devotee, right? यम संन्यासमिति प्रहु योगम तम विधि पांडवा नाहि अनशस्ताकं संकल्पो योगी भवति कश्चन. Hare Krishna translation.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
What is called renunciation, we should know to be the same as yoga or linking oneself within the Supreme. O son of Pandu, one for one can never become a yogi unless he renounces the desire for self-gratification. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we learned in the previous parts that who are they were desiring for the material. You have a yogi, a mystic yogi is also desiring something material. A sannyasi is also desiring, going to the impersonal Brahman. So that should not be the case, right? So one should, the yoga is linking oneself with the supreme, right? Or son of Mandu. That how that one has to done, that is to be done by doing the Krishna conscious activity, right? So both lead to the renunciation of sense gratification, but bhakti yoga also, ashtanga yoga also, but ashtanga yoga is not being recommended here, right? So bhakti yoga is to become attached to Krishna, right? The asakti has coming with the Krishna, shraddha is coming with him, right? The bhadana kriya from him, anatravati is doing for all, leaving all the unfavorable activities. Sadhu sangha is coming, doing for him. The nishtha is for him, the ruchi is for him, the asakti is for him, the bhav is for him, the prem is, everything is linked to the Krishna, right? So become attached to the Krishna and work from him, thus controlling the mind and senses, right? We are directly engaging, we are directly started Hare Krishna Mahamantra. No one has told you that you do this exercise, control breathing activities, then you start the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. No, Bhakti Yoga is not like that. Bhakti Yoga is very merciful, right? Bhakti Yoga is very merciful. The starting process, you right away start the Harinam. You right away start the Harinam because this age of Kali is on recommended only one thing is Sankirtana, right? So Bhakti Yoga directly starts, and by that we control the mind and senses. We get the power from the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to get the to control the mind and senses, and we basically advance in whatever activity we are doing. The regulative principle, whatever activity we are doing, it just gets perfect. It just gets more purity in its, whatever Mangal Arati we are doing, whatever Vandanam, Achanam, Varchanam we are doing, our Shravanam and Kirtanam, Vishnu Samaran, the stage of it, the advancement of it is, the purity of it, it gets advanced with day by day, with day by day, with moment by moment, by taking the name of the Lord, right? But in Ashtanga Yoga, one needs to give up attachment to the fruits of the work, control the senses, focus the mind within, right? So it becomes a tough thing, it's not recommended in the age of Kali, but we will discuss here, right? So living entity has no separate independent entity, right? He is the marginal energy of the supreme, right? We are the marginal energy, and this prakriti is the inferior energy, right? And trapped by the material energy, which is inferior. He is conditioned in Krishna consciousness. He is in his real state of life. In Krishna consciousness, what we can realize that we are not the body, we are the soul. And complete knowledge only seizes sense gratification, renounces sense gratification, right? Then what will happen? Sense gratification process will stop, right? So yogis by practice restrain the senses from material attachment. But a Krishna conscious person does not engage his senses in anything which is not for Krishna, right? A Krishna conscious person, whatever activities are there, if it involves Krishna, he will go by that, right? And what does a yogi does? He is basically detaching from the material time. Whatever material things are, he will be detached. He will not, he will restraining the senses. Rather, he will use those senses in the service of the Lord. So therefore, Krishna conscious person is both a sannyasi and a yogi, right? He is sannyasi also because he has no attachment to that material activity, right? He has only attachment to the transcendental activity in the service of the Lord. He doesn't care about the fruits of the activity, right? So he is a yogi also, right? He is practicing both the control of the senses and the mind also. So purpose of the knowledge, jnana, and of discerning senses and connecting with the Lord are automatically served in Krishna consciousness, right? So both the jnana part, gyan part is also there, and restraining of the senses and connecting with the Lord, the yoga, is also there. So automatically it is served in Krishna consciousness. You don't have to separately do some Ashtanga yoga practice, some another kind of practice. You don't have to take the proper, do the sannyas. The knowledge it is coming from the Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, and you will be able to control senses and connecting with the Lord by chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Both the purpose are directly served of a sannyasi and a yoga in Krishna consciousness, right? So real aim for a living entity to give up all selfish satisfaction, only satisfy the supreme, right? What is the aim out of it? Just to satisfy the supreme, right? Not satisfy the self. Sixth one thing. Arukshor yogam karma karanam uchyate yugarudasya tasyaiva sama karanam uchyate. Hare Krishna. Translation anyway. Hare Krishna. Translation anyone? Okay, I will read. For one who is a neophyte in the Eightfold Yoga system, work is said to be the means, and for one who is already elevated in yoga, cessation of all material activities is said to be the means, right? So one who is neophyte in Eightfold Yoga, Stang Yoga, one who is neophyte in Eightfold Yoga, said to be the work is said to be the means. So what is the means? Work is said to be. For one who is already elevated in yoga, right? One who is elevated in yoga, cessation of all material activities is said to be the means, right? So there are two stages, right? Yoga Ruruksha stage and Yoga Ruraksha stage. Yoga Ruraksha stage is basically work, karma. The karma is the, karma is the means, right? He's the neophyte. One is the neophyte. He's basically, he thinks that, by the work, one will attain. Then after being elevated by come to Yoga Rudasya stage, what happens? The cessation of all material activities, detachment comes, right? Now the detachment, now the not the material activities, rather the detachment of the material activities is said to be the means, right? So he starts the detachment. The Yoga Rudasya stage is gathered there, right? So the process of linking a living entity with the supreme yoga may be compared to a ladder, right? There is a ladder. This ladder takes one to the topmost spiritual direction. What is there? Samadhi is there, right? Begins from the lowest mental condition, rising up the state of perfect self-realization. So ladder may be divided into three parts, right? There are three parts. First is, we learned in the previous, third chapter also. There is, the Jnana Yoga, then there is Dhyana Yoga, then Bhakti Yoga. That Jnana Yoga is cultivation of the knowledge, right? The cultivation of knowledge is there. Dhyana Yoga is there. Some practice on that, some dhyan will be there. Some meditation will be there. After that, ultimately, the Bhakti Yoga, Bhakti Yoga is when you will know the knowledge and, and you will realize, one will realize that yes, there is Supreme Lord and there is Bhagwan. Then one will start the devotional service. So that will be Bhakti Yoga. So beginning of the yoga is Yoga Ruruksha stage and the highest rung is Yoga Ruda stage. So following Ashtanga Yoga, situating oneself in meditation and the Dhyan Yoga part, perfect mental equilibrium to control the senses is achieved, right? So we are also in this Bhakti Yoga, we are directly trying. In the Ashtanga Yoga also, they start with the, mental equilibrium to control the senses, right? All disturbing mental activity ceases, right? Whatever mental activity it becomes ceased. But in Krishna consciousness, one is always meditating on Krishna. We are directly meditating on the Krishna, constantly engaged in the service of the Krishna when all mental activities are considered to have ceased, right? So we are directly one is doing that. So these are the stages, right? So first is Karma Kanda. One is Karma Kanda, fruitive worker. He is a fruitive worker, performing rituals, for elevation to heavenly planets, regulated sense gratification. Yagna is doing, what for the gain, some fruitive working is done in accordance with the scriptures, right? Then one comes to the knowledge, and he starts Nishkam Karma Yoga, that is renouncing the fruits of one's labor, right? Above that, then one comes to the stage of Jnana Yoga, right? Jnana Yoga renouncing the fruits, not only is renouncing the fruits, other cultivate some knowledge also, right? That one is not the body, one is the soul, then there is Paramatma also residing there. So speculative knowledge about the Brahman and austerity, right? What is the aim of the austerities, what is the aim of the sacrifices, right? What that at that stage young Jnana Yoga comes. Then one is elevated much more above that. Then renouncing the fruits of activities is also being done. Nishkam Karma, knowledge is also there. Then starts the controlling of the mind and senses by eightfold path system, right? Yam, Niyam, Asana, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, and samadhi, right? Plus meditation on Paramatma, super soul within the heart. This process is Ashtanga Yoga. Then once know that okay, there is this Bhagwan, then he will start the loving devotion service to the Supreme Lord Bhagwan Shri Krishna, right? So these are the stages, right? यदा हि नेन्द्रियार्थेषु न कर्मश अनुसज्जते सर्वसंकल्पसन्न्यासी योगरूढस्तदोच्यते. Hare Krishna. Translation, anyone?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
A person is said to be elevated in yoga when, having renounced all material desires, he neither acts for sense gratification nor engages in fruitive activities. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So a person, one becoming much advanced and elevated in yoga and having renounced all material desires. Now Krishna is saying, one will become basically elevated, advanced in the yoga. Then he will renounce all material desires, right? He neither acts for sense gratification nor engages in fruitive activities, right? All the sense gratification, he will stop right there, right? He will stop right there. The celibacy will be starting, right? All the whatever the senses are there, karmendriyas and jnanendriyas are there, he will stop the senses from the sense gratification senses, right? Sense gratifying senses for all the 10 senses, he will stop there. And then what will happen, he will not engage in any fruitive activities, not the not the yagna, nothing like that. He only part will he will be doing is meditation on the supreme lord, right? So a person is he one how to do that, how to see that one is elevated not, he will be a person is elevated, he will no desires will be there. By that one can gauge that one is into the basically doing the Ashtanga yoga or not, right? So that is the process is Krishna is saying. So Yoga Ruda stage, the giving up the work, right? Yoga Ruruksha stage to coming up to the Yoga Ruda stage, which is giving up the work, totally giving up the work, right? The chat work Janani Mata, you are asking that Hare Krishna, can we consume sugarcane gives during Ekadashi fasting? Yes, Mata. I can. I think you can consume Mataji. Just rice and grains. We are fasting from the rice and grains is done. various stages are there. There is Nirjala Ekadashi, then then one can do Nirjala, one can do with the fruits, one can do without the grains, right? So that is the three levels of fasting on Ekadashi. So sugarcane juice is okay, Mataji. A yogi may even give up Nishkam Karma Yoga when his mental control reaches the stage of regarding well wishers, the envious, the pious, and the sinners equally, right? So yogi, how the yogi behaves, we will see here that how he is behaves, that he will see that well wishers, envious, and the pious and sinners equally, right? So this is the stage, yoga rudasya stage. Work on mind, not the body, right? So yoga rudasya stage was in one. So we see that work is the means. First, for yoga ruruksha stage, work is the means when I am not experiencing pure consciousness. So we are also doing some we are doing similar things, right? So we are practicing regulative principle, we are doing all the regulations and whatever activities are there as per the Krishna conscious movement as told by our guru, right? So we are doing that, right? We are not realized, right? Still we are doing that. We have the faith and we are keeping concentration of the Krishna, right? So similarly Ashtanga yoga is also similar to something like that, that in the starting work is the main. So work one is doing all the doing exercises or controlling the mind and senses, and then one will come to the stage of meditation only, and in meditation stage working on the mind will be there, not the body, right? So and then the giving up of the material activities will be there. So yoga rudasya is like this. The Yuga Ruda stage, giving up the work. Yuga Ruksha is neophyte. He must work because he is not detached, pure or advanced. So he will be working. He is cultivating detachment from fruitive results, right? His cultivation, the cultivation there, practices part-time asana and perhaps pranayama while engaging in karma yoga, right? He is a unified, neophyte, right? And then the advanced, the Yoga Ruda does not act for sense gratification. No sense gratification activities there. No fruitive activities there, no material desires is there, no, he is permitted to quit prescribed duties, right? He is permitted to quit prescribed duties also. So that is Ashtanga yoga. Nishkam karma yoga can be given up, right? This is also given up. Practices yoga full time. The full time yoga is that he has full knowledge, so that is a yoga ruda stage. 6.5 उदारेदात्मनात्मानं नात्मनम् अवसाद्येत आत्मैव हि आत्मनो बन्धुरात्मैव रिपुरात्मनः. Hare Krishna. Translation, anyone?
Hare Krishna, Babuji.
Hare Krishna.
One must deliver himself with the help of his mind and not degrade himself. The mind is the friend of the conditioned soul and his enemy as well. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So here the mind, the major, here Atmaiva, right? Here the Atmana is giving here Udaret Atmana. The Atma is here from here. The Atma words is basically referring to the mind, right? One is considering, there is this body and then there's mind and senses, right? So here the Atma is basically considered that in this shloka particular, it is compared with the mind, right? So one must deliver himself with the help of his mind. So mind needs to be controlled, right? For Ashtanga yogi, mind is the greatest enemy, right? And greatest friend, right? So if he controls the mind, then he becomes the friend. If he does not control, then it becomes the enemy, right? So one needs to control. So that is why it is necessary to control the mind, right? So the Ashtanga yoga from the yoga ruruksha stage, coming up to the yoga ruda stage, will start practicing on the mind, that where it is going, he will bring it back, and where it is going, he will bring it back. So that is the process of meditation, because the senses, from the senses, he has the body, he has controlled the breathing, he has controlled. Now he is trying to control the mind, because all the sense gratification process is starting from the mind itself, right? The thoughts are coming in the mind, that this is if it is saying that okay, you should have cigarette, right? So that is that is an enemy mind. But it is saying that you should not have a cigarette because it causes cancer, that is a friend of mine, friend of yours. So that is basically a friend or an enemy, right? So that is the mind, where it wants to go, where it wants. So we need to control that. The mind is not going anywhere. बन्धुरात्मनस्तस्य येनात्मैवात्मना जितः अनात्मनस्तु शत्रुत्वे वर्तेतात्मा एव शत्रुत्वात्. Hare Krishna. Translation. Krishna, okay, I will say, for him who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. But for one who has failed to do so, his mind will remain the greatest enemy, right? Because the mind is like that, right? Mind is basically thinking, feeling, and willing. Three things it has. So for him who has conquered the mind is the best friends, right? So mind is basically three things it does, right? It's thinking, feeling, and willing, right? So thinking, at the thought stage itself, if it is not calm, then it will go at the feeling state, and then ultimately it go to the willing state. So when the mind acts as per the three modes of material nature also, right? Firstly, one is in the ignorance mode, then thinking, feeling, willing, all of the bad thoughts will come and it will be acting on it also, right? For a Rajo Guna person, for the bad thoughts, what will happen? He will be thinking, feeling, and willing also, doing also, right? At the Satoguna state, the thoughts will come, but he will not, the bad thoughts will come, but he will not, act on it, right? But the Ashtanga Yogi is practicing about it also, about the Satoguna also, right? He is basically, he's trying that nothing should come into his mind except the meditation, except the meditation on the Supreme, the Paramatma, right? Nothing should come, and the thought state, it should not also come, right? So that is the Ashtanga Yoga practicing that for the mind, right? So here the mind, because if the mind is disturbed, then what will happen? One will start contemplating on the sense objects, right? So then he will not be able to concentrate on the Paramatma, because for Ashtanga Yogi, he will set at a one place, right? He has not no now no activity is there for him. The meditation is the yoga, he is doing all day asana, then yogas he is always doing, breathing activities doing, and he's controlling his mind. So he's basically what he's he's not doing activities, so he's not at the Krishna consciousness, right? He is sitting at a place and concentrating in the inside. So in the inside, he is concentrating, the Paramatma is there. So that is a difficult task, right? So he should conquer the mind, because it is the mind is the best of the friends, but for one who has failed to do so, his mind will remain the greatest enemy. So we should also do that we should control our mind, right? Because it can become the greatest enemy also, right? Right. So these are the through, the seventh shloka also. Okay. So 6.7 says, for one who has conquered the mind, the super soul is already reached, right? For he has attained tranquility, right? To such a man, happiness and distress, heat, toil, dishonor and dishonor are all the same, right? So here it is given, right? Now, what is the advanced stage of a Yoga Ruda stage, right? A yogi, but basically who has conquered the mind. Now, if one has conquered, so what will happen? He has attained tranquility, right? Oneness is attained, right? So he is very sublime, he is very pure, he has become, he is equipoised, right? To such a man, happiness and distress, heat and cold and dishonor are all the same, right? He will not be bewildered by the changes of the seasons, which are the heat and cold, right? Changes of the reactions coming from other persons, right? Happiness and distress, whatever activity is going, he will not be worried about that. He will not be worried about the honor and dishonor also. So it is same for him, right? So a person is said to be established in self-realization and is called a yogi or mystic when he is fully satisfied by virtue of acquired knowledge and relations, right? So one has who has acquired full knowledge and he has the relation, then he is having basically self-realization. Such a person is situated in transcendence and is self-controlled. He sees everything, whether it is pebbles, stones, or gold, as the same, right? So this is the stage of self-realized person of Ashtanga Yogi, who is basically in any stage, any stage, he's seeing anywhere as the same, right? He will see everything as the same. A person in 6.9, a person considered still further advanced, further advancing when he regards honest well-wishers, affectionate benefactors, the neutral mediators, the envious friends and enemies, the pious and the sinners, all with an equal mind, right? So this is the stage, this is the stage when everything he will say as an equal mind. Then here the photo, you can even tell that what is this photo depicts in 6.9 shloka. Hare Krishna.
Rishi Durvasa is cursing.
Yes, yes, Hari Bol Mataji. So, Rishi Durvasa is cursing basically Maharaj Amrish, right? So, Maharaj Amrish is basically cursed by Rishi Durvasa. So, he takes shelter of the Supreme Lord, right? He engages all his senses in the service of the Lord. By that, he is saved. So, Rishi Durvasa was, basically the Rishi who had, his anger was too much furious. He was very furious due to his anger. He was very famous for his anger, since the time immemorial, and and to do some things, he went basically cursed, he go and cursed the Maharaj Amrish, but he was saved from the Supreme Lord just because of engaging his all his senses in the service of the Lord, right? All his doing all the Navvidha Bhakti, because nine devotional services, right? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, right? Path Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, and Atmanivida. He did all those nine things, simultaneously. He started chanting the glories of the Lord. He listening to the glories of the Lord, right? He basically he started, he on the lotus feet of the Lord. He started serving at the lotus feet of the Lord. He started remembering the glory, pastimes of the Lord. And then he basically worshiping the Lord, then praying to the Lord. And he as a servant, he was cleaning the temple, then dasyam as a dasyam, then as a sakyam and atmanivat, he completely surrendered, at those activities, all he's doing, using his legs and hands, all in the service. So all the senses he started doing in the service of the Lord. By that, the Lord was pleased, right? So this is the state, right? This is the state one should be in order to advance, right? So this is the Krishna consciousness state, right? He is basically, whatever the enemies are there, whatever the enemies, friends, and he will be equal. He sinners all with an equal mind. He will see with equal. Durvasha Muni is also a devotee of the Lord, right? He is currently, he has not checked his ego, and due to that, he started cursing the Maharaj Amrish, right? But the Lord saved him, right? Both are the devotees of the Lord only, right? It's not like both are them, but at some point of it, even like Durvasha Muni, the Muni like Durvasha Muni, also sometimes the ego is not checked and the things happen, right? But the Maharaj Amrish is not retaliating, rather he is engaging in the service of the Lord. So devotional service is such powerful, right? So much powerful that even one can get away from the curse of the Durvasha Muni, right? So six enemies of the mind. And what are the six enemies? The Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Mada, Moha, and Matsarya. Right? Kama is lust. Lust is there. Then Krodh, anger is there. Lob, greed is there. And the intoxication, madness is there. Moha, illusion. Moha, illusion of that we are not the body, we are the soul. Right? And we are the body, basically. That is the illusion. Yeah, if we have come out of the illusion that we are not the body, we are the soul. One is having the illusion of whatever things are related to your body is, and attaching to it is the illusion, right? We are attached to our child, we are attached to our family. That is just because of illusion. Then if one knows that all are an individual soul and all are the eternal servitor of the Lord, then one will come out of the illusion. Everyone will engage in the service of the Lord. Everyone will be happy, right? So that is Krishna consciousness. And Matasar is envy, right? Mata, envy of being anything. Envy, one can be envy in the Krishna consciousness movement also, that okay, and this person is serving more, this person is serving less, I am not getting service. No, so that is also envy, right? Envy must be checked at any level, at any level. When one is coming Krishna, it's not like that it will not come. That these are the enemies of the mind, right? The lust will come, the greed is coming, the anger is coming, intoxication, madness is coming, illusion. All are the six enemies of the one needs to check it, right? So one is established in self-realization by virtue of the knowledge and self-realization, right? So he will see all things, sees pebbles, stones, and gold as the same. And with more advancement, what will happen? He will see that honest, he will see, firstly he will see that things, material activities at the same level. Then he will see a living entity at the same level. For the enemies also, he will be simple. With the enemies also, he will deal simply, right? For the friends and enemies, he will deal simply. He will not have biasness or partialness with anyone. So see, honest well-wishers, affectionate benefactors, the neutral mediators, the envious friends and enemies, pious and sinners equally. Whatever they are behaving with you, he will treat them equally, because he knows everything in them there is Paramatma. So that is the advancement and the process of self-realization, that with every living entity you see the Paramatma, and you now know that everyone is the eternal servant of the Lord, so nothing to be worried about. It is the will of the Lord, right? So he will see everything. So that is more advanced stage. So now we come to the section 3. In this further stages in the practice of yoga, right? What happens in this? The Krishna describes the practices of Ashtanga Yoga. What are the practices? We will discuss here. The result are the yoga ruda, the perfection state, and ultimately the vision of the super soul, right? Why with this what one needs to attain? Needs to attain the perfectional state. What is that? To know the Paramatma, right? So it will start with the yama and niyama, and then asana, and then pranayama, and then pratyahara, then dharana, then dhyan, then samadhi. First, sadhana bhakti is basically yam, niyam, asan, pranam, pratyahara, dharana. Then comes the dhyan and samadhi, in which basically meditation, absorption, remembering, hearing, this all things basically comes in that stage, right? So beginning stage is yoga ruruksha stage, advanced is yoga ruda stage. So yoga, these are the forms we see in today's world, and various forms of yoga, chair yoga, office yoga, yoga for Kaizen and physical and dunya varga yoga, whatever yoga is there, right? Yoga for pregnancy, right? Whatever yogas are there. This is not the actual yoga. These are some exercises, right? That is also beneficial for the body, right? That, like, Rita Prabhupada tells that, use this boat for, going to the other side of the ocean, right? Not decorating it, not for, getting attached to it, right? One should be above that. So when you will see that, this Shirshasana someone is doing, he is a yoga. Yeah? Is this yoga? No? Is this yoga, right? Going into the, this is, austerities, heavy austerities, giving, this is beer yoga. Then there's, various yoga is given, right? But this is not. So Yashtang yoga means 8-limbed connection. Ashta means 8, Anga means limbed, and yoga means connection, union, right? So these are the process. Yam is external disciplines, right? Yam is basically external disciplines. Niyam is internal disciplines, right? External disciplines is basically, what activities one is doing, following some principles, following some regulative principles, right? Extra activities, you stop some activities, right? Niyam is there, internal disciplines, right? You follow some internal disciplines, right? And asana is there, posture, meditation, seed, asana, various asanas one learned there. Pranayama, breathing control activities are there, right? Pratyahara, withdrawal of the senses, right? From sense gratification is pratyahara. And dharana, concentration, right? Then you one start with this process of the concentration on the Supreme Personality Godhead. You keep bringing your mind on the Supreme Personality Godhead. Then meditative absorption. Then one becomes absorbed in then concentration, right? One becomes absorbed, the ecstasy, one needs to feels the ecstasy, and then one will attain ultimate this samadhi, union, integration, and throughout the day. So Yama is he should live alone in a secluded place, 6.10, and should always carefully control his mind, right? Niyama is temperate in his habits of eating, sleeping, working, recreation, right? Too much eating is not good. Too much sleeping is not good. Too much working is not good. Too much recreation is not good. In the middle, at the mid, it should be in the midway path, right? It should not be too much. It should not be too less. The eating should not be too much. Eating should not be too less. Too much eating will lead to heavy sleeping, right? Too much sleeping will lead to mode of ignorance, right? Too less eating will not be able to concentrate the mind on the Paramatma, right? So too less eating will also result in that, right? Sleeping, sleeping is also like that. Too much sleeping is not good. And Shilpa tells that anyone sleeping more than 6 hours is not good, right? It's not good. Rupa Goswami and all, they used to sleep only 2 hours. Sometimes that also not. But we did not need to imitate them because we are not at that stage. We just need to follow the other regulative principles, and gradually one will go to that stage, right? They were highly elevated souls, right? So they are the Goswamis. They have controlled all the senses. So sleeping, working also, but too much working is also not good, right? Too much recreation is also not good because your senses gratification will start again. 6.11 to 14, what are the asanas and how the asanas to be done? Lay kusha grass on the ground and then cover it with a deer skin. Right? Krishna recommends that lay kusha grass and the ground, and then because it is very pious, it is very pure, it is pious, and it is, when the kusha grass is laid on the ground and then cover it with a deer skin. The seeds should neither be too high nor too low, right? And should be situated in a secret place, right? In a holy place, right? So one used to go into the forest, the holy place where various forests were there. Currently, it is not suggested, various animals are there, various, various material things are there. We cannot do that, right? Currently, one should hold one's body, neck, and head erect in a straight line and stare straightly at the tip of the nose, right? Thus, with an unagitated, subdued mind, devoid of fear, completely free from sex life, and one should meditate upon it. So here he is saying that one should be unagitated, one should be with subdued mind, surrendered mind, right? And devoid of fear, because one is surrendered directly to Paramatma, right? Open, because it is said that one should have a spiritual master, right? Learn Tadviji Pranipatena, Pariprashnena Seva, Upadeksha, Pariprashnena Seva, right? One should be submissive to his master and then, offer with love and devotion, right? And surrender, one should start, So here, so spiritual master, Chaitya Guru is basically Paramatma is residing inside our heart. So subdued mind, devoid of fear, no fear should be there because one is not the body, one is the soul. So one should be have faith that, okay, I'm starting, okay, God will protect, right? Completely free from sex life. Why? Because one should, the celibacy should be practiced. One who's taken sannyasi, one who's like that, one celibacy should be practiced. Even if one is a household, then also celibacy can be practiced because in Krishna consciousness, what happens? One is allowed to have regulated sex life, but basically in a regulated manner. That also because in the Krishna consciousness movement, what happens? One knows that once you have started the process of chanting Hare Krishna mantra, then you will get the higher taste. Once you get the higher state, then automatically celibacy will come. Celibacy is an byproduct, right? Celibacy is automatically the byproduct, but automatically come, right, in the Krishna consciousness. That is the benefit of Krishna consciousness, right? And one should meditate. We will, so in us, we in Krishna consciousness, what we are doing, we are directly meditating over the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? So these are the process, right? In pranayama, what is happening? Practice stopping the movement of the outgoing breath into the incoming, right? This breathing activity, controlling the breathing activity is coming and incoming breathe into the outgoing, and thus at last remain in trance, right? So this is the process of pranayama. Then pratyahara comes, cessation of the material existence, right? What travel the material activities are doing, you stop that, right? Dharana is disciplines his mental activities and becomes situated in transcendence, devoid of all material desires. He is said to have attained yoga, right? So one is union, one is basically attaining trance, right? And one is going to the trance in dharana stage. Then dhyan is as a lamp, at that one is getting the trance, so he's getting something out of it, some higher taste he is getting. Now he will concentrate more. So one will concentrate more, then what will happen? As a lamp in a windless place does not waver, so the transcendentalist whose mind is controlled remains always steady in his meditation on the transcendent self, right? So this trance he wants to have throughout his day, right? So similarly, as a lamp in a windless place, right? So this lamp was flickering due to the mind's agitation is now stopped. His concentration has increased in the dharana, and in the dhyan stage, it is like a lamp in a windless place, right? It will not waver, right? So the transcendental whose mind is controlled remains always steady in his meditation on the transcendent self. In the samadhi, one is never shaken, right? After this, he will attain samadhi. One in the samadhi stage, he will not shake even in the midst of the greatest difficulty, whatever may come, right? This indeed is actual freedom from all miseries arising from material contact, right? So this is the freedom one gets, right? So ultimately, what is, ultimately Krishna is saying, ultimately you are coming to the stage of, actual freedom from material misery, from material contact. So we are doing directly that, right? In the bhakti yoga, what is happening? One is doing karma yoga, doing activities and, surrendering all the works to the Lord. Jnana yoga is cultivating that he is not the body, he is the soul. And Ashtanga yoga is practicing and ultimately coming to the state of samadhi, taking some time. But in bhakti yogi, we are directly chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and concentrating on the Lord, and all the material activities senses are controlling, and we are doing directly the devotional service. So which is better, which is better? You only think. Okay, so we'll stop here. Continue from 6.16 to Hare Krishna. Any doubt on today's class? Anything to add? Hare Krishna. Okay. Okay, we'll end here. वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for coming. Tomorrow we will meet at same time. Hare Krishna.